He offered her $1 million. But what she said next destroyed everything he built. Everyone has a price. At least, that's what Adrian Voss believed. A man who could buy anything, control anyone, erase any problem. Until the day, a woman with nothing refused everything. Welcome to Prime Tale, where power meets consequences, and one decision can destroy an empire. Make sure you stay till the end, because this story doesn't end the way you think. The rain didn't rush. It fell slowly, deliberately, as if the sky itself wanted to watch what was about to happen. Inside the cafe, everything was quiet. Not silent, but controlled. The kind of quiet that only existed in places where money decided who belonged. Polished marble floors, gold-trimmed lights, conversations kept low, not out of respect, but habit. And, in the far corner, Adrian Voss sat like a man who owned more than just a room. He didn't check the time. He didn't need to. People waited for him. Always. His suit was flawless. His posture effortless. His expression unreadable. Until she walked in. It was subtle at first. A shift. A disruption. Not loud. Not dramatic. But wrong. She didn't match the environment. Her shoes were worn, not damaged, but tired. The kind that had walked too far and rested too little. Her dress was simple. Clean but old. Not chosen for style, but for necessity. And yet, she walked in like she had every right to be there. That was the first thing Adrian noticed. Not her clothes. Not her face. Her confidence. It irritated him. She spotted him immediately. Of course she did. Men like Adrian didn't blend in. They dominated space without trying. She approached slowly. No hesitation. No nervous glances. No signs of desperation. And that confused him. Because every person who had ever sat across from him wanted something. But her? She didn't look like she wanted anything. She pulled out the chair, sat down, and looked at him. Not up, not down. At him. Equal. That was the second thing he didn't like. "You're late," Adrian said calmly. She didn't apologize. Instead, she tilted her head slightly. "No," she replied. "I arrived exactly when I meant to." A small answer, but it hit harder than expected. Adrian leaned back, studying her now, really studying her. This wasn't going the way it usually did. "Do you know who I am?" he asked. He wasn't asking. He was reminding. She didn't answer immediately. Her eyes moved across the table. The glass. The reflections. The details. Then back to him. "Yes," she said. Nothing more. No admiration. No fear. Just acknowledgement. Adrian exhaled slowly, then reached beside him and placed the envelope on the table. It slid across the surface with precision, stopping right in front of her. "This," he said, "is for you." She looked at it, but didn't touch it. "Open it." A pause. Then she did. Her fingers moved carefully, not excited, not rushed, just controlled. She opened the flap, looked inside. Stacks of money, perfectly arranged, untouched, life-changing. For most people, that moment would break them. Emotion would flood in. Shock, relief, tears. But her face didn't move, not even slightly. She closed the envelope, placed her hand on top of it, and then she pushed it back. Adrian didn't react immediately, because his mind needed a second to process what just happened. "I think there's a misunderstanding," he said, his tone sharpening just a little. $1 million. She nodded. "I saw. Then you understand what's being offered." Another pause. Then she said something that had never been said to him before. "I understand exactly what it is." Adrian leaned forward slightly, and she met his eyes. "It's not enough." Silence. Not cafe silence. Real silence. The kind that presses against your chest. Adrian blinked once. That was all. But inside, something shifted. "Not enough," he repeated. Carefully. She nodded again. "You're asking me to disappear." "Yes. You're asking me to pretend something never happened." His jaw tightened slightly. "Yes. And you think this," she tapped the envelope lightly, "fixes that? It compensates you?" "No," she said softly. "It doesn't." Now there was tension. Real tension. Adrian wasn't used to this. He wasn't used to resistance, especially not from someone like her. "Everyone has a number," he said. "No," she replied. "Everyone has a limit." That landed differently. For the first time, Adrian's confidence didn't feel solid. It felt tested. "Take the money," he said, this time less patient. "Walk away. Live your life. This never needs to exist again." She looked at him, longer this time, as if deciding something. Then, she stood up, slowly. No rush. No hesitation. And that's when Adrian realized something. He wasn't controlling this conversation anymore. "I already am living my life," she said, her voice calm, but firm. "And I'm not selling it." Then she pushed the envelope the final inch toward him. "I'm also not disappearing." She turned, started walking away, and Adrian did something he hadn't done in years. He spoke without control. "Do you have any idea what you're walking away from?" She stopped, but didn't turn immediately. When she finally did, her expression hadn't changed. But her eyes? They held something now. Something heavier. "Yes," she said. "I do." A pause. Then she added, "And you have no idea what you just walked into." And with that, she left. The door closed behind her. The rain kept falling. The cafe returned to normal. But Adrian Voss sat completely still. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel powerful. He felt uncertain, because deep down, he knew one thing. That wasn't just a rejection. It was a warning, and he had just ignored it. Brian didn't move for a long time, not because he couldn't, but because something unfamiliar had taken hold of him. Doubt. The cafe had gone back to its usual rhythm. Quiet conversations, soft music, polished calm. But none of it reached him. His eyes were still fixed on the door she walked through, as if expecting her to come back. She didn't. Slowly, he reached for the envelope. The same envelope that had ended negotiations, closed deals, erased problems. Now it just sat there, rejected. He picked it up, weighed it in his hand, then dropped it back on the table like it suddenly meant nothing. Because, for the first time, money hadn't worked, and that bothered him more than anything else. "Sir." Adrian didn't look up. His assistant, Marcus, stood a few feet away, tablet in hand, posture straight. "Cancel the rest of the afternoon," Adrian said quietly. Marcus hesitated. "You have." I said cancel it. No emotion, just command. "Yes, sir." Marcus stepped away immediately, already making calls. Adrian stood up, adjusted his suit, and walked out into the rain. The city looked different through tinted glass. Less real, less important. Adrian sat in the back of his car, fingers resting lightly against the armrest. "Find her," he said. Marcus, seated in front, didn't turn around. "Name?" A pause. Adrian's jaw tightened slightly. "I don't have it." That was unusual. Marcus finally glanced back. Description. Adrian's eyes narrowed slightly, recalling every detail. Mid-30s. Simple clothing. No jewelry. Calm. Too calm. Marcus nodded slowly. "That's not much to go on." Adrian leaned back. "It's enough." The car moved. Rain streaked across the windows like lines being erased. But something wasn't erasing. That conversation, her voice, her confidence, and that final sentence. "You have no idea what you just walked into." Adrian didn't like uncertainty, so he did what he always did. He turned to control. 3 hours later, they were inside the office. Top floor. Glass walls overlooking the entire city. Everything beneath him. Everything within reach. Marcus stood across from the desk. "There's no record." Adrian didn't react. No social media presence. No employment history tied to her description. No recent financial activity that matches. "Impossible," Adrian said. "That's what I thought." Marcus placed the tablet on the desk. "We checked surveillance from a cafe." Adrian leaned forward slightly. "And she's not there." Silence. Adrian's eyes lifted slowly. "What do you mean she's not there?" Marcus tapped the screen. Camera footage played. Adrian arriving, sitting, waiting, people moving, staff working, time passing. But the chair across from him? Empty. The entire time. Adrian's expression didn't change. But the air in the room did. Run it again. Marcus did. Same result. No woman. No meeting. Nothing. Just Adrian. Talking to no one. That's not possible, Adrian said quietly. We checked every angle, every camera, every frame. Marcus hesitated. Sir, whoever she is. She was there, Adrian interrupted. His voice wasn't louder, but it was sharper. I spoke to her. Yes, sir. She touched the envelope. Yes, sir. She opened it. Marcus didn't respond this time, because the footage said otherwise. Adrian stood up, walked to the glass wall. The city stretched endlessly below. But for the first time, it didn't feel like something he controlled. It felt distant, unreachable. Dig deeper, Adrian said. Marcus nodded. We already started expanding the search. Older records, private databases, facial recognition cross-checks. Adrian turned slightly. Good. Marcus hesitated again. There is one thing. Adrian didn't speak. Marcus continued. A partial match came up, but it doesn't make sense. Explain. Marcus picked up the tablet again. There's a record from 15 years ago. Adrian's eyes narrowed slightly. A woman. Similar facial structure. Similar features. And she's listed as deceased. That word hung in the air. Heavy. Final. Adrian stared at him. What happened? Marcus glanced at the file. Fire incident. Residential building. No survivors listed from her unit. Adrian turned fully now. And you're telling me that's her? I'm saying it's the closest match we have. Silence. Then Adrian walked back to his desk, picked up the envelope again, opened it. The money was still there, untouched. But now it felt different, like it carried weight beyond currency. She's not dead, Adrian said. Marcus didn't argue. Then who is she? He asked carefully. Adrian closed the envelope slowly. His eyes darkened. That's what we're going to find out. That night, Adrian didn't go home. Instead, he sat alone in his office. Lights off. City glowing around him. The file open on his desk. A blurred photo. A name partially erased by time. A death that may not have happened. And a woman who shouldn't exist, but did. His phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. We found something else. Adrian picked it up. Read it. And for the first time, his expression changed. Not anger. Not frustration. Something deeper. Something closer to realization. Because attached to the message was a document. Old. Buried. Forgotten. But connected to him. Directly. And stamped across the top. Was a case he thought had been erased forever. The office felt colder that night. Not physically, but mentally. Like the walls themselves had started listening. Adrian stood behind his desk, staring at the document on his screen. He hadn't opened this file in years. Hadn't needed to. Because as far as he was concerned, it didn't exist anymore. But now, it was back. And it had a face. Her face. Marcus stood nearby, silent for once. Waiting. Watching. Where did you find this? Adrian asked quietly. Private archive, Marcus replied. It was sealed intentionally. Adrian let out a slow breath. Of course it was. He made sure of that. Years ago. Back when money wasn't just power. It was protection. Read it, Adrian said. Marcus nodded and began. 15 years ago, a residential building on the east side of the city caught fire at approximately 2:13 a.m. Adrian closed his eyes briefly. He already knew this part, but hearing it again made it real. The fire spread rapidly due to structural failure and outdated wiring. Official cause listed as electrical fault. Marcus paused, then continued. However, there were conflicting reports from early responders suggesting the fire may have been accelerated. Adrian's eyes opened slowly. That part was removed, he said. Yes, sir, Marcus replied. Removed or paid for? Adrian asked. Marcus didn't answer. He didn't need to. Adrian turned away, walking toward the window. The city lights flickered below, like distant memories. Continue. Marcus nodded. Among the residents, a family of 3 was listed in Unit 4B. Adrian's jaw tightened. He already knew where this was going. Mother, Father, daughter. The name echoed, not loudly, but deeply, because Adrian remembered it. Not clearly, not fully, but enough. Fragments of a meeting, a complaint, a delay, a decision. Scroll, Adrian said. Marcus did. There was an ongoing dispute between the residents of Unit 4B and a corporate development group. Adrian's eyes darkened. He already knew which one. He didn't need it said. The group had recently acquired the building with plans for demolition and redevelopment. There it was. His company, his decision, his signature. The Reyes family had refused to vacate the property. Adrian turned slowly, and Marcus swallowed slightly. They filed multiple complaints, citing unsafe conditions after utilities were shut down intermittently. Adrian walked back toward the desk, each step slower than the last. And what was done about it, he asked. Marcus looked at him, carefully. Nothing. That word hit harder than any accusation. Adrian picked up the tablet, scrolling through the report himself now, reading faster, deeper, ignoring the parts he didn't want, until he reached the section that had been buried, redacted, hidden. Until now, his hand stopped. There it was, a note from an early investigator, unedited, unprotected, possible deliberate negligence. Building systems may have been compromised prior to incident. Adrian's grip tightened. That was removed, he said. Yes, sir. I remember removing it. The room went quiet again. But this time, it wasn't just silence. It was realization. Because Adrian wasn't asking questions anymore. He was remembering answers. We cut power to force evacuations, he said slowly. Marcus didn't interrupt. It was temporary, controlled, legal enough to pass. He paused, then added, at least on paper. Marcus finally spoke. But the wiring was already unstable, Adrian finished. His voice lower now, more distant. And we knew that. That was the truth. The part he never said out loud. The part that turned a business decision into something else, something worse. Adrian sat down, for the first time, not like a man in control, but like a man replaying a mistake. She survived, he said quietly. Marcus nodded. It seems so. Adrian leaned back, staring at nothing. But that's not possible. Marcus didn't respond, because, clearly, it was. Hours passed. No one spoke. No calls. No interruptions. Just the quiet hum of a building that never truly slept. And Adrian, sitting in the middle of it, awake, aware, and for the first time in years, uneasy. Why now, he finally asked. Marcus frowned slightly. Sir, if she survived, if she knew. Adrian's eyes sharpened. Why wait 15 years? That question lingered. Because it mattered. Revenge didn't wait without reason. Marcus checked the tablet again. There's one more detail. Adrian looked up. What? Marcus turned the screen toward him. A legal filing submitted this morning. Adrian's expression shifted. By who? Marcus met his eyes. She used a different name. A pause. But the signature matches the handwriting from the old records. Adrian leaned forward, reading it, every word, slowly, carefully, until he reached the line that mattered most. And when he did, everything changed. Because it wasn't just a complaint. It wasn't just a lawsuit. It was something far worse. It was a claim that could destroy him completely. Morning didn't arrive gently. It exploded. Adrian didn't wake up to sunlight. He woke up to vibration. His phone, non-stop, calls, messages, alerts. For a second, he didn't move. Because something in him already knew. This wasn't normal. He picked up the phone. 32 missed calls. All from Marcus. That alone was enough to raise concern. But it was the notifications that followed. That changed everything. Headlines. Dozens of them. Rapid. Aggressive. Spreading. He opened one. Then another. Then another. Each one worse than the last. Billionaire Adrian Voss linked to deadly fire cover-up. New evidence suggests corporate negligence behind 15-year-old tragedy. Survivor steps forward, claims Voss destroyed her family. Adrian sat up slowly. His chest didn't tighten. His breathing didn't change. But something deeper shifted. Because this wasn't a leak. This was a release. Planned. Precise. Intentional. And worst of all, it was believable. His phone rang again. Marcus. Adrian answered immediately. What happened? He asked. Marcus didn't waste time. She went public. Of course she did. Adrian swung his legs off the bed. Already moving. How much is out? Enough, Marcus said. Documents, internal memos, archived complaints, things that were supposed to be sealed. Adrian's jaw tightened. Supposed to be. Yes, sir. Adrian walked toward the window. The city looked the same. But it wasn't. Not anymore. Contain it, Adrian said. We're trying. Trying isn't enough. Marcus hesitated. Sir, this isn't like the others. Adrian's eyes narrowed. What does that mean? It means, Marcus paused carefully, choosing his words. This wasn't leaked randomly. It was packaged. That word landed. Packaged. Meaning, someone didn't just expose the truth. They presented it in a way people would believe. Follow. Share. Media. Adrian asked. All over it. Buy them. We already started. And Marcus didn't answer immediately. That silence said everything. They're not backing off, Marcus admitted. Adrian's expression hardened. They always back off. Not this time. That was new. Unacceptable. Adrian grabbed his jacket. I'm coming in. By the time he arrived at the office, the damage had already begun. Employees weren't working. They were watching. Screens everywhere. News loops. Interviews. Commentary. Speculation turning into accusation. And at the center of it all was her. Not clearly. Not fully revealed. But enough. A blurred image. A voice recording. Distorted but steady. She wasn't supposed to survive, the voice said. Adrian froze. Just for a second. Because even through distortion, he recognized it. Her. They thought the fire would erase everything. Another pause in the clip. They were wrong. The video cut. But it didn't need to continue. The message had already landed. Adrian walked past the screens. Past the whispers. Past the stairs. Straight into his office. Marcus was already there. This is escalating faster than expected, Marcus said. Adrian didn't sit. He stood, watching the city, thinking, calculating. Where is she? He asked. Marcus shook his head. No confirmed location. Find her. We're trying, but... Adrian turned sharply. No, but... Find her. Marcus nodded immediately. Yes, sir. Adrian exhaled slowly, trying to stabilize something that was slipping. This is just noise, he said. It'll pass. Marcus didn't respond, because both of them knew that wasn't true. An hour later, it got worse. A new headline dropped. Bigger, stronger, more dangerous. Marcus rushed in without knocking. Sir, you need to see this. Adrian didn't turn. Say it. Marcus hesitated, then said the words that changed everything. Adrian didn't hesitate. The moment he made the decision, everything moved. Calls were placed. Accounts activated. People contacted who didn't officially exist. This wasn't corporate anymore. This was personal. Marcus stood across from him, already issuing instructions through a secure line. Legal pressure is in motion, Marcus said. We're challenging the filing, delaying hearings, discrediting the claims. Adrian nodded once. Good. But that won't stop the media. It doesn't have to, Adrian replied. His voice was calm again, controlled, familiar. People don't need the truth, he continued. They need doubt. Marcus understood immediately. And we give it to them. Adrian finally sat down. For the first time since everything started, he looked like himself again. We dig into her past, he said. We find inconsistencies, gaps, anything we can twist. Marcus hesitated slightly. We already tried that. And there's almost nothing. Adrian smiled faintly. There's always something. That confidence, that belief, had built his empire. But this time, it was about to be tested. Hours later, they found something. Not much. But enough. Marcus placed a file on the desk. A name she used before, he said. Different identity. Short-lived. Disappeared quickly. Adrian opened it. Scanning. Any criminal record? No. Financial irregularities? No. Adrian looked up. Then what am I looking at? Marcus leaned slightly forward. A gap. Adrian's eyes narrowed. Explain. She existed under this identity for 6 months, then vanished. No trace. No transition. Adrian leaned back slowly, thinking. That's not normal. No, sir. It's controlled. Marcus nodded. Exactly. Adrian closed the file, then tapped it lightly. That's our angle. Marcus frowned slightly. Sir. We don't need truth, Adrian said again. We need perception. Marcus understood. We suggest she's hiding something. Adrian's smile returned. We suggest she's lying. By evening, the counterattack began. Articles. Opinions. Experts questioning her credibility. Subtle at first. Then, louder. She appeared out of nowhere. No consistent identity. Why wait 15 years? Is this about justice or money? Doubt spread, just like Adrian intended. And for a moment, it worked. The narrative shifted. The certainty cracked. The public hesitated. And Adrian watched it happen from his office, feeling control return. She underestimated me, he said quietly. Marcus didn't respond. Because something didn't feel right. Not yet. Then, it happened. One message. One alert. One moment. That changed everything again. Marcus' phone buzzed. He checked it. And his expression dropped. Adrian noticed immediately. What is it? Marcus didn't answer right away, which was already a bad sign. Marcus. He turned the screen toward Adrian. Watch. Adrian took the phone. Press play. It was a video. Simple. No editing. No music. Just her. Clear. Visible. For the first time. No distortion. No blur. No hiding. She looked directly into the camera. Calm. Steady. Unshaken. And then she spoke. I was wondering how long it would take. Adrian's grip tightened slightly. You tried to question my identity. A small pause. Good. That word felt wrong. Too confident. Too prepared. So let's remove the confusion. She reached forward, picked up a document, held it to the camera. Birth records. Another document. Hospital reports. Another. Legal filings from 15 years ago. Each one clear. Each one undeniable. Each one real. I didn't disappear, she continued. I was erased. Adrian's expression didn't change. But inside, something shifted again. And the people who did it. She paused. Not for effect, but for precision. They're the same ones trying to do it again. Silence. Then she leaned slightly closer, her eyes locking into the lens. Into him. You see, I've been waiting for this. Adrian's jaw tightened. Because suddenly, this didn't feel like reaction anymore. It felt like timing. You needed to make a move, she said, to prove exactly who you are. Then she sat back, relaxed, controlled. Thank you for that. The video ended. Silence filled the office. But this time, it wasn't confusion. It was realization. Marcus spoke first. Sir. Adrian didn't respond. Because he was still thinking, still replaying, still connecting. And then, he said it. Slowly, carefully. We didn't attack her. Marcus frowned. What? Adrian looked up. His expression darker now. Sharper. We validated her. That truth landed hard. Because everything they just did didn't weaken her. It strengthened her. Every move, every strategy, every attempt to discredit was part of her plan. She knew, Adrian said. Marcus swallowed. Knew what? That I would fight back. And she needed it. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. Because now it was clear. This wasn't a reaction. This wasn't revenge and anger. This was something else. Something planned. Something patient. Something far more dangerous. Across the city, she watched the same video replay. But not with satisfaction. With focus. Everything was moving exactly as expected. Every step, every reaction, every decision Adrian made was predictable. And that's what made him vulnerable. She turned off the screen, picked up her phone, and made one call. "It's time," she said calmly. A pause. Then, "He's ready." The first sign wasn't loud. It didn't come with alarms. It didn't even make headlines. It came as a number. A small one, barely noticeable. A slight dip in stock value. Adrian saw it before anyone else. Of course he did. He always watched the numbers, always tracked the movement. Because numbers didn't lie. People did. 2%, Marcus said, standing beside the large screen. Adrian didn't react. "Temporary," he replied. "And under normal circumstances, it would have been. But this wasn't normal. By midday, it wasn't 2% anymore. It was 7, then 12, then 18. And suddenly, people started paying attention. Phones rang, not with routine calls, but with urgency. Investors, partners, board members. Voices that once sounded confident, now sounded careful, concerned, afraid. Adrian sat at the head of the conference table, silent, listening, not answering, because every question was the same. Is it true? And for the first time in his career, the answer wasn't simple.